So in this, we are going to discuss why we need relational databases, RDBMS, and we will also see the limitations of RDBMS. So what is missing in RDBMS? So we will be looking into these two topics or these two aspects before we jump into big data related technologies, because it is very important to see the capabilities provided by RDBMS and where they fail. We need to know those things, and once we know, then it is easy to map big data technologies also. So when we are comparing RDBMS and big data, so you will find that in our architectures we are not replacing RDBMS. We are not saying that RDBMS are no more required. So RDBMS, they have certain capabilities which we need to use in our enterprise architectures. So RDBMS, they complement our big data architectures rather than competing with big data technologies. So let's start with why RDBMS. So they are awesome when it comes to storing structured data. So for storing structured data, they are very good because they maintain data consistency. So they ensure that whatever data you are storing is conforming to the requirements, standards that you have defined, and they will enforce those things on the structured data. So that is very important. Data quality is much better than other technologies which don't enforce stringent schema kind of requirements. So for small amount of data, so when I say small amount of data, that means it's not actually small. You can say less than equal to terabytes or a few terabytes. So less than equal to couple of terabytes. Performance is good. Performance is good. They provide mature SQL query language, and this query language has very good advanced data types and a lot of other features, like the syntax is very rich. So query language is very matured. So it is matured query language which is provided by RDBMS. Apart from that, you will also find the transactional support. Transactional support is very good in RDBMS. So in many NoSQL databases, this transactional support is not there, or if it is there, then it is very limited. Apart from that, they follow ACID principle, and ACID stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. So atomicity is related to transactional support. Consistency, I just mentioned. Isolation, that means two different operations on that database will not impact each other. And durability, it will give you assurance that when you persist any data, then it will be there even if you try to read the data later on. Apart from that, there are other advantages, but I think for the time being it's fine. We can just move to the limitations part. So when I say limitations of RDBMS, very first thing is agility is missing. Here agility is missing when we change any schema. Let's say I'm adding another column in the RDBMS, and then we have to lock the entire table before that column can be added. Yeah, so this is a very big problem because today's dynamic world, we have so many changing requirements. So we don't want to impact the overall operation of the database. So agility is very important factor. So we don't want to hamper the existing operations on the database when something is being evolved. Apart from that, cost is very important factor. Cost of hardware on which the RDBMS is running. So a lot of times you will find that relational databases, they require very good quality hardware. Sometimes many companies, they buy $1 million machines to actually install relational databases. And apart from that, the licensing cost, there are so many vendors like Teradata, Oracle, or many vendors, they charge a lot of money for the licensing cost. So this is not open source. Apart from that, you will find some use cases like for example, graph use cases, they don't fit naturally into the relational databases, because implementing graph functionality on relational database, there are some tweaks, there are some hacks, but that is not foolproof. So that's why we have other databases like Neo4j, and those allow us to implement graph databases. Apart from that, usually you will find they are vertically scalable. Apart from that, if we have horizontal scalability, then they are expensive. Oracle application clusters are very expensive. So that's why I'm not considering that part of horizontally scalable. Apart from that, we get limited business insights from RDBMS. And when I say limited business insights, because you are dealing with structured data, and structured data is for completed transactions. Let's say I will give you one very simple example. I am an e-commerce customer. I go to Amazon.com. I did not buy anything. So if I did not buy anything, then the data will not go into relational databases. It is basically my navigation history, my clickstream data. It is all semi-structured data. So when data is there in those sources, you are not able to leverage that data. So you don't know why people are not buying on your website. So here you can actually analyze data for customers only. You are able to analyze completed transactions. So you can analyze data, completed transactions which are stored in database. But incomplete transactions which are there in other sources, you will never be able to understand or analyze. You will find there is a gap. So that means like we are basically just focusing on completed transactions, not on incomplete transactions. So you are focusing only on customers, not on visitors. And you know, in a company, like you will find customers to visitors ratio, you will find customers are very less compared to visitors. So 80% may be visitor, 20% customer. So you are just understanding how customers are buying on your website, but you are not at all looking at the visitors, how to convert 80% of the traffic to customers. So that you are not analyzing. So that's why you are having limited business insights with RDBMS when you are just working with structured data. So hope this gives you some idea like why RDBMS and why we need big data related technologies, because there are so many limitations. So we'll start looking into those.